Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, is celebrated throughout Mexico. Just as we celebrate Halloween here, the Mexican people celebrate the Day of the Dead to remember all the ancestors, all the friends and the relatives that have passed over to the other side. And they do that by sometimes visiting the cemeteries, visiting the graves. They'll often spread out a picnic and have a meal there. And often the food is the favorite food of those that are deceased. They want to honor them by preparing the foods that those people loved, singing the songs and telling the stories about them. And this is a story that's sometimes told on the occasion of Day of the Dead. It's a story about how La Muerte, how death came into this world. Hace mucho, 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 mucho tiempo. A long, 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 long time ago. People lived and lived and lived and lived and lived. Y nadie murió. No one ever died. Bueno, well, the world was filled with people. Gente, gente, gente por todos lados, people everywhere. There was no room for anything new to come. Y nadie sabía qué hacer. Nobody knew what to do. It was so crowded. Nobody knew what to do. Bueno, aparte de Coyote, except for Coyote. Él siempre sabía qué hacer. He always knew what to do. Or at least he thought he knew what to do. Conoces el tipo, right? You know the type. Well, Coyote, he said, bueno, yo tengo una idea. I've got an idea. Yo tengo una amiga se llama La Muerte. I've got this friend. Her name is Death. And she has lots of land. And I will invite her to come. And she will take away some of the people. A la tierra de los muertos, to the land of the dead. And in that way, there will be more room here upon the earth. And people said, bueno, Coyote, sí, está bien, es una buena idea. Sí, hágalo, Coyote, hazlo, take care of it, Coyote. And so he did. Coyote invited La Muerte into the world. And she came. From the land of the dead, she came. Into this world she came. And sure enough, she carried away the spirits of the people here and there, some old, some young, so not so old or young, but she carried them away to the land of the dead. And after a while, the people said, Coyote, has visto mi tío? Have you seen my uncle, Coyote? Coyote, por favor, has visto mi hermano Pedro? Have you seen my brother, Peter? And Coyote said, bueno, ellos se fueron con la muerte. They went away with death. Bueno, Coyote, está bien, pero ¿cuándo van a regresar? When will they come back, Coyote? Coyote said, no van a regresar. They're not going to return. They're in the land of the dead now. That is the way that there would be more room in the world so new things can grow and come. Don't you understand? The people said, no, Coyote, no, no, no. So they told Coyote that they wanted all the people that had gone away to the land of the dead to come back. And the way that they would do that was to create a great festival, a huge party. And at the party, which was held in a great adobe, a great hall, they made all the foods the people that had died loved the most. They had the musicians come and play all the songs they loved, dance the dances they loved. And sure enough, because you know how songs and dances and prayers too, they can travel between the worlds, and all of that music, it travels to the other world, to the land of the dead. And when those people, when those spirits heard that, they remembered. And they began to come back from the land of the dead to this place. And Coyote, who had eyes to see such things, he saw them all returning. And he knew this was not a good thing. And so now he was inside the adobe with all the people. And he said to them, play the music louder so that the dead can hear you. Dance faster. We must have a great feast. We must celebrate loudly. And as the people did that, Coyote, he quickly went about and he shuttered all the windows and he shuttered all the doors. So when the spirits finally came to the adobe, they couldn't get inside. They tried to pound as well as they could, but they were just spirits now and they could not be heard. And inside, the people, they were laughing, they were feasting, they were dancing, they were singing so loudly that no one even realized that all the spirits were outside trying to come inside. And eventually all the spirits that had died, they said, bueno, ya nos quieren. They no longer want us. And away they went back to the land of the dead. And since that time, when people die, they go away to the land of the dead and they don't come back. And since that time, on Dia de los Muertos, the people, to remember all those who have died, they still make the food and sing the songs and dance the dances. And to this day, you watch when people see a coyote, they'll shoo him away or aim a rifle at him, set a trap for him. Even though they've long ago forgotten why they do that, Coyote, he remembers. Because he invited La Muerte, death, into the world. And you watch. Whenever Coyote runs off, he always looks back over his shoulder, knowing the people are still after him, still angry with him for bringing La Muerte to this world, even though it was La Muerte, death, who saved this world. And that is the story from Mexico about how Coyote brought death into the world.